Hello, and welcome to the Curious Creatrix podcast, where creatives share their stories on and about creativity. I'm your host and Curious Creatrix, Haden Starbuck. Today we have a returning guest, Meghana Giridhar. She was with us on episode 48 when she told us about her business Let's Create Inc. that helps support creatives globally. So now she's going to update us on what the past year has been like, the ups and downs, the twists and turns, and the lessons that she's learned in growing her business. Hey, Meghana, thanks for coming on.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be back.
I know. Okay, so we're going to start by saying, and I'll say this at the end as well. You came on for episode number 48. So everyone should go back and listen to that as well, because she'll go more in depth in that one on how her business got started. But for today, you're going to give us a quick rundown on what the business is and what kind of the highlights of last year and the exciting things to come next year. So take it away.
Thank you so much. First of all, it's always such a pleasure to do a show with someone that you've had a fantastic rapport with. And that was very evident during our previous podcast. So I'm very excited to be back and speaking with you again. So just to recap, I know, many of your listeners will hopefully go back and listen to our first interview, which was amazing. But for those who are tuning in for the first time, I would love to tell everyone a little bit about my platform. I'm the founder of a curator platform called Let's Curate. This is a global platform that focuses on empowering the independent artisan. The kind of artisans and makers that my platform showcases is very specific. I focus on shining the spotlight on independent designers who have learned their technique either from their ancestors. These are long lost skills which they're trying to recreate and redesign and create a contemporary twist to. And they are all designers with one commonality. They only make small batch products. They're all handmade. And the other interesting thing is, the platform also showcases designers from, not the typical areas from the world. So we have designers from Croatia, Slovenia, from New Zealand, Kenya. There's so many exciting arts and crafts and techniques out there in the world. And my frustration when I first was thinking of this idea was that, there were many, many people who just did not have a space to show their work. And specifically with independent designers, what happens is they're doing everything. They're coming up with the idea, they're getting the materials, they're executing the idea, and then comes the part of promoting their products and, kind of giving a voice to their thoughts and their process, it's almost like 7 people doing the job of one person. When I kickstarted the platform in 2019, I was already in touch with the first set of 10 designers that I, met over my travels. And this was the common frustration shared by all. They all were drowning sort of in trying to keep their ideas alive, but also put themselves out in the world, in the commercial world, having to sell their products. And that kind of kickstarted this idea for me. I launched in 2019 with 10 designers from 10 countries. We've grown to now represent 61 designers from around 31 countries, which I'm so grateful to have the opportunity to have all this talent on my platform. So yes, that's a little bit about Let's Curate. And I would love to elaborate a little more on what we've done this year, emerging out of COVID, and what we have planned for 2023.
I want to hear that. But first, I want to say, I just got this image as you're talking. I feel like it would almost be like being a kid in the candy store to be you, because you get to meet all these people making these really cool things that you obviously love.
Yes.
And you get to play in their world. I think that's fabulous.
It is, and it's most people, forget that creating something, whether, I specifically work with designers who make products or make jewelry or art. So these are all product categories, but making anything, it could be writing a book, it could be, doing a DIY project. Um, it's it's in a way kind of isolating. And this is again something that all the people that I speak to, most of them have said that, because it's agonizing and it's rewarding at the same time, because you're coming up with something, just it's your own thing, but the process to take it from the idea to the end result, which is when you find a customer who loves it as much as you do, is a really long process. And which is why I'm, again, very grateful, like I said, for them to allow me to enter their world and allow me to kind of, help them along the way in the areas that they, essentially should not really be involved in. This is one of the reasons why I felt so strongly about, because I looked and looked and I just could not find a space where creators were left to create, and someone else took on the job of finding the right avenues for them. And that's what my platform has slowly kind of expanded into. It initially began as a simple shop where we showed creations from, the 10 designers who I thought were creating very unusual products. But then, because of COVID and, coming out of COVID, the world slowly had to kind of rebuild itself. And that was helpful in a way, because then I had to think of other ways to showcase them. And, we've come up with a bunch of amazing initiatives during 2022 and 2021, of course. But I felt like this year was especially special and exciting because there were many first in this year. And I would love to speak more about that.
Yeah, go for it.
So, like I said, 2019, the platform comes into being by, this was June 2019. By the end of the year, we got we were deluged with requests from other designers, and the shop expanded. We had all these amazing plans in 2020 to go all over the country. There were a couple of international events that we were supposed to participate at. And of course, what happened. The world shut down. And it was, like I said, it was, I felt the pain of all the people that I had promised all these things to, because, we had kickstarted with such enthusiasm and energy. And, I was doing what I had, kind of planned out. I'm a planner, so I had planned out the entire year, and everything just disappeared within a week. Nope. This forced me, and this is where, I feel like the theme of your podcast also, meshes really well, because it was about me being creative in ways to present them. Nope. So we did we had to pivot in a way. We had to move all our in-person events into different formats offline, which, to be honest, worked beautifully. So we launched webcast interviews, we launched limited edition features. And, the limited edition feature was one of my favorites, because we had so many people who came to us and they said, what, the world has shut down. I cannot make a collection with 20 pieces anymore. I barely have the resources to make a collection of 3, maybe 2. And that led to the idea of, showcasing something so custom and so special that you would probably have just 2 pieces from that designer. And that actually took off in a big way, because remember, at that point, everyone was home, everyone was online, everyone was buying stuff nonstop. And I think people got a little jaded with the process very soon, because there's, it was too much of all of that going on. And then here comes along, our space where we said, hey, you love this ceramic, product. And guess what? There's only 2 of this in the world, made in this special technique from this part of the world. And we highlighted that, which again was unique for these creators too, because they'd never had an opportunity to talk about themselves and where they get the idea from. So that took off in a big way, and it's still a very important feature of my platform. So we continue to expand with a bunch of these initiatives. 2022, we kind of stepped out of the darkness, if I can say that, and, stepped into the light a little bit. And as the year wore on, the world opened up a little more, and that led to a range of other exciting in-person events and partnerships. We partnered with an indie magazine called London Runway, which again showcases they were the perfect branding partner for us, because they again focus only on indie designers. They have an entire publication for this. So we have a media partner now where, not just through the shop, but we now also promote our people through this amazing magazine and publication that has a very wide reach. And that's been my focus since the beginning, to find the right kind of partners, just like you, to kind of expand the reach of these artisans who are more often than not working in super tiny towns. They're not from prominent cities. They're walking. I have an artisan who is based out of a little village outside of Lithuania, and he makes these artisanal boomerangs. And he was talking to me about how he has to get someplace to get the resources, come back, design it. So it's not like being in a big city where you walk down the street and go to a Marshall's or go to like Michael's and buy your materials and come home and make something. So for him it's a really long process. So for these kinds of designers, this has really been a boon, and I'm very happy that we've had the opportunity to do that for them. But of course, the highlight for 2022 for me has been the launch of our very first international jewelry exhibition. The focus is minimalism, and the theme of the exhibition is Minimalist Dreams, Timeless Designs. This actually came out of this idea of, again, it was kind of, I would say, a side effect of COVID, where we literally had to dial down to a zero, personally, professionally, and in all other avenues of our life. So, while I was having conversations with people, they all said the same thing. They said, this has forced us to rethink the way we create, and it's forced us to go back to the basics and create beauty out of something very simple. Simple is actually very deceptive, because it's sometimes easier to embellish and make some, add like bells and whistles and make it like grand. It's easier that way. But the pandemic forced many designers to kind of give away all the excess and come up with designs that were very stark. It was almost brutalist, but just very, very beautiful and statement making. And that was the inspiration behind the exhibition. For the exhibition, we have 3 wonderful women designers. One is from Japan, one from South Korea, and one from the USA. And they all, the lady from the USA uses discarded materials, and she created a whole collection based on the Art Deco style, which was fascinating, because Art Deco is, again, kind of very elaborate, very intricate, but she had to pare it down and create a collection which was very, very minimal, as per the theme. So she did a fantastic job. The lady from South Korea used steel and silver to create these kaleidoscopic images, which, when you think kaleidoscopic, you think complicated structures, complicated designs, but she, again, did a brilliant job. She created a collection of brooches, which were stark. And the third lady is a contemporary jewelry designer from Japan. And her collection is called Neo, and it, again, focuses. She created a collection, and one of the pieces that she made is a brooch which has a steel casing around it, and then a very fluid, dynamic aluminum piece, so when you wear the ring, it looks like a stark piece of steel. And then when you walk, the material inside, it like moves. So it's very fluid. And it was fascinating the way she spoke to me about the process. So we have these 3 women designers with 12 pieces in this exhibition. This was featured. We have a 3D virtual gallery, which has, these pieces showcased. We also did, through our brand partner, London Runway, we had tremendous promotional, features for them. We did a bunch of interviews. We also were able to capture the designers at work in their studios. So
nice.
Yes, we followed them to the studio. We did a lot of work in progress videos. So it was fascinating because there was the lady from South Korea and Japan. As they were making it, it was amazing to see that they didn't really know how it was going to turn out, but they just went along and they, one step at a time, one step ahead of the other. And then they came up with these absolutely phenomenal designs. So it was wonderful to be able to do and present these women in a very different way, which I've not seen on other platform. And I'm glad I got the opportunity to do that. So this exhibition runs till December 31st, and I welcome all of you to visit these pieces, and I'm sure you'll fall in love with all of them. The links, I'm sure Haden will provide the information for where you can go and see these pieces. We're also presenting these pieces at holiday event in a couple of weeks in New York City, which gives them another avenue. Yes, so people can come see them in person.
So because this episode isn't coming out until January after the show is over, are the links still on your website for people to see?
Absolutely. Yes, it will stay on the website. Yes, it will stay on the website. So they will. Oh, yes. So Hayden, will you edit that part out where it says people can come in and see the...
You just explained it.
Okay. All right. Okay.
This is the real world. We're thinking on our feet here.
Yes. So yes. The exhibition will be, featured on the website, even after it's over. But it's just we did a range of things to showcase these designers, and our hope is to continue doing that in 2023 with more elements added to that. One of them being hopefully an amazing podcast series with the next set of participants. We haven't decided the theme as yet, but it'll be announced soon. So that's how we ended 2022, and I cannot wait to tell you more about what's coming up in 2023.
Well, and I love the idea that you actually got to be in the studio with them and kind of see, because I think a lot of people, if they're not creative themselves, they see a finished piece and they kind of don't know what went into it. So to be there, and everybody's got a cell phone now. We can all, maybe not everybody, a lot of people have smartphones. You can record stuff that we just have access to things we didn't, and that's 100%. Exciting.
And it just shows you, I think it's people around the world, and I feel like there are discerning customers who are now, there is a larger pool of people who are very particular about the kind of products that they buy, and I think they appreciate the effort and the behind the scenes peek into how much work goes into all of this, because I think it makes it a little more special when you own something and the entire story. Know how the person struggled, how they thought of it one way and it turned out another way, and the way it turned out was even better than how they had thought of it. So these are all things I feel make it a little more valued, and that's what we want to kind of propagate through the platform, which is to actually meet. When I say meet, it's meet the designer through avenues, the bunch of avenues that we have introduced over the years. I think we hope that, customers and the audience that is interested in this kind of, these kinds of products actually get a sense of how they're made and who these people are. That's important. And I feel like we now have a network of designers who are on the same page as us. They just don't want their products to just be seen on a website without them having their voice being presented to.
Yeah. And speaking as far as consumers and collectors, there's such a movement towards buying local and what, I mean, people, you can buy an item, that's fine, but they're doing more than that. They're supporting. I mean, when I do a show, I put pictures up of my animals. It's like, you buy my product, it goes to feed these critters, you know. Yeah. You're investing in the person. You're not just buying it for yourself.
Exactly. You said it. You said it absolutely the way that I was thinking of it. You are investing in the person, and it's a collaborative process. Yeah. This is not about me making something, in a mass produced manner. So you get a spoon that 6,000 other people have. It's something that you have collaborated in some way, whether it could be supporting, the artisan in the process that they underwent to get the product to you. So my hope is in future that I can connect creators with the right kind of customers so that they can have a dialogue and they can make something special, which, is a forever piece.
Yeah. And I will say too, as a creator, the people that buy or show interest in my work, they determine what work I do. Because if I once designed something, I thought, this is great, it's the best thing ever. Nobody was interested.
Yes. It's feedback, right? It's feedback from the people that you're creating for. And I feel like, artisans are also, they don't crave praise, but they crave feedback because they want to know. And they creative people have their own ways and own ideas, but if they find the right kind of audience, then it becomes more of, hey, this is what I'm thinking of. You want to make you want me to make a ceramic pot. This is the idea. What do you think? And then you're making it for them. And I think that's what they want to do in the end. They want to put across their ideas in a way that appeals to a customer that they are in love with, to be honest.
Well, and for me, it's almost like the circle of life. When COVID hit and my museums and my galleries and everybody closed down, I just quit making things, because unless those things leave my studio and go out into the world in exchange for money, why make them?
Exactly.
I need that flow. I need that rhythm.
Absolutely. And it's the commerce angle of it. It's the appreciation angle of it. It's the it's the feedback angle of it. So there are three, if you don't have a platform, all three of them are taken away from you. So you're just making something by yourself and it's sitting in the studio and it's frustrating. And what's the point, you know?
Well, and the other thing I'd say is it's connection. I mean, this is my baby. It's going out into the world and I know it's going someplace where it's going to be loved.
100%. Yes.
Yeah. That's huge. Okay, we're running a little low on time. So tell us what some of your excitements are for this coming year. And
we'll go from there. So, every year, as the year goes by, I'm always in a quandary because I'm like, you're steeped in all, you're steeped in this, I was doing this exhibition, working on it for months, and it's all, it was nearing its end. And then I was like, wait, what's happening? What should we do for 2023? And it's like you put positive energy out into the world and something positive comes back to you. And while we were, in the middle of this exhibition, we got invited to, showcase our artists. So the Minimalist exhibition showcases designers. We got invited to present at Art Expo NY, which is going to be an in-person and an online gallery event at Chelsea Piers in New York City, March 30th. It goes on for 3 days, but the online gallery stays on for another month. And we've been invited to present as many painters as we can at this event. And we're so excited. We have, a bunch of very, very exciting art, contemporary, traditional, acrylic, sculptures, and we're going to do an in-person event as well as the online gallery. So that's coming up in March 2023. And, I'm working with, I've had to switch gears from working with designers in terms of product and talking to a new group of people who, painters are different from product creators, right? So it's exciting to switch gears, and once again we have an amazing branding partner. Art Business News is the publication that will have a bunch of these profile pieces of all our artists. We're going to do many interviews with each of our painters who will be presenting their work, and we will be sharing the link again on the website and the podcast for you to visit. And if you're in New York City, we would love for you to come by and say hello and meet our incredible makers. So that's happening very soon, 2 months from now, March 30th. That's when it gets launched. And after that, of course, we will be in our second year of our international in-house exhibition. And this in 2023, it would not just be limited to jewelry. We will be getting other participants focusing on ceramics and sculptures and a whole lot more. We're going to be adding, like I said earlier, many more elements. We will be having in-person studio visits. We will be presenting their work at physical stores all across New York City. And also a podcast interview series with each of our designers who will be participating in 2023. For the theme will be again announced very soon. But these are the two big things. Along with that, the other work also continues, which is to expand our network, get more and more like-minded creators on the platform, find more avenues for them to grow and prosper, because, when they do well, we do well. And when they are happy, and I feel like every new person who has joined the platform, it's been through word of mouth, it's been through continued dialogue. We are very careful with the kind of people creators that we showcase, because, like I said, this is not a platform where, we call someone and we say, hey, can you make a painting? And they get back to us and they say, oh, what should be the theme? It's going to be ready in 10 days. This is not that kind of a place. This is, with each person that joins the platform, there is months and months of discussion and views exchanged, and we come to an understanding, and that's when we showcase someone. So every time we launch a new creator, and I hope the number expands in 2023, it's about there's months and months of behind the scenes conversation that has led to that moment. So it's very exciting every time we launch something. Our other avenues like limited edition will continue. One last thing that I want to kind of touch upon, it's big news for us too, is we are launching our own private label brand called Let's Curate Exclusive, which would have products that would be sold under our brand, will be stocked across many stores in the US, especially New York City. That's where we are based, and will, cover a range of product categories: art, textiles, accessories, scarves, but it's our own brand. So we will have artisans who would be making something exclusively for the Let's Curate brand. So that's something we are very excited about. So 3 huge things, along with, all the other initiatives that we have launched since 2019. So as I'm saying this, I'm also, it's a check for me to make sure that, we do justice to everything that we are planning on introducing on a platform. And I hope we continue to grow and thrive, with the blessings of our community, our Let's Curate fan community, our customers, and of course, the makers without whom this platform would not exist.
I feel like since our last conversation of this one, I'm watching a flower really slowly bloom, So
thank you. That's such a wonderful image, and I think that's spot on. That's exactly. It's a slow process. We are growing slowly. We're in no rush, and I have to say, I'm enjoying every minute of this journey.
Oh, that's so exciting. Well, cool. Okay, tell people your website.
Yes, so you can get everything related to Let's Curate on our website: the exhibition, the shop, our press coverage, our initiatives, the new Let's Curate exclusive brand products, all of that would be available on a platform which is www.letscurate.com. That's LETSCURATE. Our Instagram handle is let's_curate, same spelling. And you can reach us anytime at info@letscurate.com.
Cool. Well, I look forward to seeing what happens next.
Same, and I'm so happy to be back on this show. I feel, it's such a pleasure to speak to and have conversations with like-minded people. And I really thank you for inviting me again on this show.
My pleasure. If you'd like to nurture the curious creatrix in you, I invite you to join our Curious Creatrix family by heading over to our website, www.creatrixcompass.com. We've got classes, creativity coaching, lots of stuff to get your juices flowing. We're also on Facebook and Instagram. Thanks for joining us today.